Okay, so, after, at the end of Lo Maximo, Jack Black, the movie star, name drop, wanted to confide something in me. And so we were talking afterwards, and he said, all of us are trying to find a place that nonprofit or charity that we can support, but he said, the truth is so many places just aren't who they say they are. And then he looked at me and he said, Homeboy Industries is pure. And I thought about that the whole rest of the weekend. I thought, well, what does that mean? Pure doesn't mean perfect. And that's important to know. There are three things that I think all of us find here if we fully cooperate with this community of tenderness. All of us, I include myself, senior staff, volunteers, anybody walks through these doors. If you cooperate with this community of tenderness, three things happen to you. One, everybody learns how to nurture themselves. Two, everyone learns how to transform their sorrows. And three, everybody reclaims their wholeness. If you cooperate with this place, those three things happen, and there's purity in it. It's not perfect, but it's pure. Nurture yourselves. Well, a lot of times we are so hard on ourselves. It's hard, we're merciless. We have a hard time forgiving ourselves. We think there's something essentially wrong with us, and so we beat ourselves up. It's hard for us to be kind and compassionate or make friends with ourselves. I remember I heard of a woman once who was dying, and she was kind of in a coma. Her kids were surrounding her bed. She woke up and she says to them, all my life, I always thought there was something wrong with me. And she shook her head and she said, what a waste. And then she died. And it is a waste. You learn not to waste any time kind of beating yourself up. You go, wow, no, I'm exactly right. What the hell? Two, transform our sorrows. Everybody has a darkness that kind of fills our life sometimes, and a damage or trauma or whatever it is, but you don't want to get stuck there. If you cooperate with this place, you'll get unstuck from that. I can remember I was in my office and a homie right out of camp was sweeping in front of the office, so I call him and he sits down. We're having a conversation. I remember, I don't know why we went this way, but I asked him about his dad, and he said, he walked out of our lives years ago, long ass time ago, he says. Then he kind of thinks, he goes, actually, he walked out on us on my 6th birthday. We had a cake y todo. I sat at the table with the cake. I wouldn't let them cut it. I waited and I waited. Nighttime came, and he never did. I cried till I was 9, he said. I don't cry anymore. I just hate him. But by the end of his time here, he was able to get to this other compassionate place with his father where he could say, yeah, he did the best he could. And he could forgive him. And suddenly his own sorrows are turned inside out. And the third thing is you reclaim your wholeness. It's not like you become whole, you locate it. It's always been there, but you have to locate it. I remember a homie who had big ass devil's horns tattooed on his forehead, and he finished up here, just as Fernando is, and sent him to a job, a hard job, good paying job. And he was telling me about how he was taking the bus home after his first day at work. He was covered in dust and filthy from working, and he said, I couldn't help myself. I kept turning to strangers. I'm just coming back from my first day at the job, Just got off, first day at work, And I'm trying to imagine the people on the bus, and are men sort of burying their faces in their newspapers, or women clutching their purses and their kids a little more closely. Then an old African-American woman reaches over, because she was sitting near him. She grabbed his hand and she said, good for you. If you cooperate with this place, you'll be able to nurture yourself. You'll be able to transform your sorrows. You'll be able to reclaim your wholeness. If you've come here looking for perfection, you're not going to find it. But if you've come here and you cooperate with this community of tenderness, what you're going to find is pure. Go for it. And leading us in prayer is